The issues before us today are among the most pressing facing our state, yet they too rarely find their way into our conversations here in the state capitol. I often say, if you can't see me, you can't serve me. That principle rings true for so many of our underserved populations and continues to serve as my guiding theme throughout this budget process and my tenure in the legislature. I'm particularly proud of this subcommittee's past work, particularly last year's efforts to secure funding for the Bringing Families Home programs at CDSS, a program of which we will be discussing today, and a program that is making a real difference in the lives of so many Californians. As mentioned, our focus turns to the status and outcomes of California's foster youth. These are literally our children. In California, we have made real progress for these individuals, but we have many miles to go. Our work is not done until we can say that we are putting these young people on a pathway to thrive. Surviving is not enough. If they are not thriving, we have work to do.
In terms of the potential impacts of the federal H.R. 1 cuts, those cuts to CalFresh and Medi-Cal will increase hardship for families already facing significant challenges. CalFresh serves 5.5 million Californians, and the expanded work requirements will put many at risk of losing essential food assistance. Non-minor dependents and former foster youth who aged out of foster care, who were previously exempted from the work requirements, will need to qualify for an exemption on a case-by-case basis or will become subject to work requirements, increasing their vulnerability to benefit loss. This is especially concerning given that roughly 30% of transition-age foster youth involved with foster care involvement already experience food insecurity. My colleagues at CDSS are working to minimize the harm of H.R. 1 policies by maximizing exemptions to work requirements for those who are eligible and ensuring that we can connect recipients to workforce opportunities.
I'd say, the last thing I'd say is around the talk about federal storm clouds on the federal horizon. I do see that as a big challenge, both with the H.R. 1, but also with the administration's recent moves to take offline public data sets that were formerly available and to remove from data reports that were formerly available. And what this does is it cuts down the discourse. It starts to remove the number of diversity of voices that can speak to changes that need to be made. And so I would suggest that we tend to be different in California, but I would really want us not to go in that direction because we've spent a couple of decades building a public accountability and transparency system that would really be detrimental to the wealth and the health and welfare of our kids if we didn't maintain that.